Irish kid who plays bagpipes.
And we're live, ladies and gentlemen. 3 guys, 1 cup of coffee
And
in the house.
And a guest.
And a guest.
Who's
Very
our guest
special
today,
guest.
Greg?
He goes by the name of Joe Delvescovi. Joe, how old are you?
My birthday's the end of June. I'll be 26.
26?
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah, glad to have you.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be 26, and right now in your life, well, you're gonna get your master's degree, which is a big deal,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Long time coming.
How do you feel about that?
It's nice. I feel like it's kind of like a showcasing of small successes that have taken place over a long period of time.
Right. I feel you on that one, man.
Right, so where are you graduating from now with your master's?
Mount St. Mary's in Newburgh, New York.
Oh, nice, New York, nice.
Yeah, it's close to home for me. It's a private school, and coincidentally a Catholic school. I went to a Catholic high school, but yeah, that kind of just happened by chance. I didn't really search out for that. But being in the educational field, usually they look for you to have a core curriculum like a math, science, English, social studies, and since my undergraduate was kind of like not any of those, I had to look for specific schools that were going to cater to giving me certification to teach and doing so without having that undergrad core. I had philosophy was my undergraduate degree, which kind of has played into a lot of the decision making for my education, but
right.
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That all works out.
So you're coming up to the closing line here. I know that a lot of times you tell me about different certifications beyond just your test taking at school. You have to do New York State things, right? New York State certifications.
Yeah.
Am I right on that?
Yeah, it's a pretty lengthy process to become a teacher now, especially in the state of New York, because they're considered kind of like the flagship for education in our country.
Right.
And so yeah, on top of your regular curriculum for your master's degree, you're taking up to 4 state exams, and each of those you're paying separate voucher fees for out of your pocket.
Another way for the state to collect money, right?
That's a lot.
Yes or no?
It's
Is that what it seems like?
yeah. Well, it's not just the state. It's also huge companies that form these tests that aren't just tests for teachers or prospective teachers, I should say, like myself, but also for the students in school. In the news right now, there's a lot of talk about the state exams going on and kids opting out and stuff, and all those Common Core state exams are created by a huge company called Pearson, and Pearson actually makes the same tests that I take to prove my eligibility to be an effective teacher in this state.
So they work in conjunction with each other.
Yeah.
Wow, I had no idea about that. So what do you look forward to most? What's grade range that you're gonna teach?
Grade range?
The
Well,
grade level or age range. What's the word?
I'm going for dual certification, so I'll be certified to teach kindergarten through 6th grade and special education.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be Mr. D, or are they gonna have to pronounce your last name?
I kind of give them the choice, and in the program over the years they'll say to you that always have that expectation of the student. You're going to have students in your class that are going to have a variety of names, and they're going to hold you to that standard to be able to be able to pronounce all their names, so you should have that same expectation of them. But I give just for the ease of the day, I'm like, if you want to call me Mr. D, call me Mr. D. If you want to say Delvescovi every time you address me, that's your own battle,
I'd definitely be like, Mr. D.
Yeah.
So going through this program, what's the number one struggle you faced? Or how about letdown? Because with every fray there is a fro. What's the number one thing that I guess bothers you about the whole system? Because there's got to be one.
Well, I mean, going through my graduate experience in the program, I've always kind of looked at all the struggles as like those things that make you stronger. The things that I don't necessarily like about the program, or about the particular class that I might have been taking in a semester, like something that is just it makes you work extra hard. I don't know if there's anything I can pinpoint. I think all those things you value
Right.
when you're getting an education, because I mean it kind of is like, I don't know, it's like when you're working out or something. If you're not feeling the
struggling a little.
if you're not
gonna
feeling
get
the
anything out of
burn,
it.
you're not really getting the payoff. And
Right.
no, there's in the opposite of that. There's some classes you sit in and you feel like you do absolutely nothing, and you're wondering why you're paying all this money to do that. So that's unfortunate sometimes too. But you take the good with the bad.
I hear you on that.
Definitely, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you could say, if there's
A little closer to
any,
the mic, Steve.
if there's any one flaw in the educational system that you want to try to address, like what would you say it is?
Oh man.
That's
So
a
one
good
thing
question,
that sticks
Steve.
out that you're like, this
Yeah,
is
that's
not right.
That's a huge question. I don't know if I can answer that in an hour.
Well, the thing is, I mean, you haven't really bridged that gap yet to where you're fully integrated in it, or are you? Would you say that you have? Because you do a lot of student teaching, right?
Yeah, I'm in my second student. Well, for this particular certification, I'm in my second student teaching placement, and my special ed placement, and I'm there. I'm there every day. I'm a regular teacher. I don't get paid. It's just part of my curriculum. I have to be. I'm supervised. They watch me do lessons. I videotape myself doing lessons. I have to submit a lot of that information to the state in order to get certified. But if I I think one of the reasons that I got into the educational field after having a philosophy undergrad was because I was kind of at that crossroads where it was like, with the philosophy undergrad, you could go to law school or you could get involved in education. And at first, to be honest with you, that was kind of like an existential question for me that I didn't want to answer. And so I just went and I applied to another philosophy school to get like a master's in philosophy, and I got in. And really with a master's in philosophy, all that would afford me is to be able to be a kind of like a community college philosophy teacher. You can't teach at a state school with a master's degree. You need a PhD, which is, at this point just kind of like not reasonable. You have to start like getting a paycheck and paying for some of this school before you continue anymore, So I made that decision based on the fact that there are way more than one thing that I see wrong or would like to change about the educational system. And as I'm in it, to answer your question, Greg, like I do feel like I'm in it now, and my view changes constantly.
Sure,
I mean,
sure. I guess it takes a lot of time to get the whole picture.
right.
A lot of time into it, see all different avenues
Yeah.
to really get the. Okay, I got you.
I mean, initially going into the program, having come from the philosophy undergrad, I felt my view on education in our country was that, on our government rather, was that, the government constitutionally is supposed to do three things. It's supposed to provide a military.
Yeah.
It's supposed to take care of our roads, which, driving down 684 on the way here,
No.
I'm not so
Yeah.
sure. It's like,
No way.
if there's a ton, like if there's a, all these people unemployed, it's like, get them on 684. Like that shit is so bumpy. But anyway, the third thing, and arguably the most controversial thing, is education. They're supposed to be providing a free and powerful education to all citizens. And being in the program now and reading some of the things that I don't know if that if I feel the same way, if I feel like there's a lot of other institutions out there, private institutions or otherwise, that are beginning, especially with the power of technology, beginning to provide education to people that are out there looking for it. And it's just, every day I'm learning a little bit more.
So let's get personal for a second. What made you want to be a teacher initially?
Well, I think now going and teaching every day, you have to be there for those little moments, like, and it's the kids, because each day, they come they come up with some stuff that only kids can come up with,
Yeah,
and they're
I bet.
still so removed from the. I mean, like, the program that I'm in now, it's time consuming. Every day, like, wherever I am, my mind is on these long-term goals, on accomplishing the things that the state wants me to accomplish to prove my competency as a teacher, and kind of like being in the environment where these kids just wake you up a little bit every once in a while, and they're like, like, it's life is a little bit. More precious.
Is it a
and
little
that's slow,
enlightening working
so-
with the kids?
Very.
So,
So it's like a little bonus for you.
so is that kind of why you decided to go for kind of K through 6 instead of teaching, let's say, like a college or more like
Or high school.
high school, more like
Yeah.
adult kids?
No. Honestly, that is kind of just part of the system. I would like to consider myself competent to be able to teach across the board, like pre-K to college. Like, I would like to one day.
Is that a normal goal for most people going into the profession?
No, I don't think so at all. I don't know. I don't usually set normal goals, but
boy.
Make it up as you go along.
Yeah, and it kind of is that way. And having the non-traditional core of philosophy, I actually wouldn't be able to teach the older subjects. You need to have a core. And some schools, like a couple of schools that I looked at, I wouldn't have been able to go there and acquire a graduate degree because I didn't have a core. And that was really the main deciding factor of going to the school that I chose, because they allowed me to do that. And K through 6, you teach all the subjects, so not having a core really isn't that big of a deal, because you have to know all your content regardless.
When you say core, you mean like a degree in like math or science?
Exactly.
English?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, folks, that concludes our first segment of the hour. Joe Delvescovi in the house, Mount St. Mary's, Newburgh, New York, almost graduate. All right, guys, we'll be back in 5 minutes.
And this will continue.